Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I'm Goldy Firman Pramana from Electrical Engineering 19. I want to present broadcasting and network security. So, as we know, the Indonesian government plans to replace all analog television broadcasts with digital television broadcasts. The government has actually made regulation relating to digital broadcasting, but the regulations seems to lack a positive response from the public and have been repeatedly sued in court. The switch to digital broadcasting has left Indonesia unable to enjoy a digital dividend that can be used to provide faster and more extensive broadband internet. This information is important as a form of preparation for entering the era of Society 5.0, where access to the internet has an important role to play in the development of science and technological innovation. So, as we know, here is the era TV analog. You can see this is FDA, free to air, and then this is digitalization broadcasting. So the future DTV is like this: the TV digital terrestrial, and the band is band range is about 192. Okay, next. So going to the next is we will explain about the scope of regulation. So scope definition of broadcasting services, this including of addressing a number of social and economic interests like plurality, cultural diversity, national identity, and standard of decency. European Union differentiated television as scheduled and non-scheduled. And then next is ensuring effective competition. So it will be equal access to content to provide competitive over. So the development of the appropriate technologies and services on the digital dividend spectrum, and also government can start by educating consumers properly, reducing switching costs, simplifying barrier accessory for new player. And then also here there are regulation, spectrum allocation, and public interest. The regulation should consider the change in the supply of information and programming, including moving from institutional supervision to system-based supervision. And also audiovisual service offered by internet providers that simply host the content uploaded directly by users cannot be included in a possible definition of broadcasting services. And also for here is advertising, which means that there were time frames on quota for advertisement in the traditional broadcasting, but those were not applicable for NJN since the user can skip advertising frames. Okay, so here are the institutional environment. We can see here the diagram. So here is the sector specific overseas telecommunication sector, which may include spectrum and potential overlap into postal service. And also here we have a multi-sector, which means that oversees multiple industries such as transportation, water, telecommunication, and also electricity. And here is the convergence, which means that oversees multiple components of the ICT space such as broadcasting, telecommunications, and spectrum management. So then we have this broadcast regulators and telecommunication regulators, and also minimizing the number of regulators. And regulators in broadcasting and telecommunication have had an important role. So this is the point of the NGN network security, that there are security is important aspect in NGN. Why? Because IP networks are experienced with attack from internet, email, and also application. Then traditional circuit switches are usually designed as closed protocol in which users have a lesser amount of info on its structure and functioning. Contrary, NGN is IP-based, developed by open protocols. So we are very focused in here because this is we must to make as close as possible. Then security is also an essential one for the industry to be reliable and competitive in the global market, which means that a down network could impact to the national economy. And then the social dimension of security, such as consumers are becoming dependent on information system. So NGN should provide a reliable connection anytime, anywhere. And then security threats affecting the convergence infrastructure can arise from anywhere because we don't know when we will be attacked. The borderless nature of IP networks. Then ensuring an appropriate balance between the civil liberties and security solution, such as anonymity and freedom of expression. And the last is collaboration between international standard organizations such as ITU, ETSI, ISO, IETF, and also 3GPP. Next, we go into the ITU resolution X 805. There are 5 possible threats, such as destruction here, and then corruption, interruption, removal, and also disclosure. Next is the common security issues that happen. First is access control. It protects against unauthorized use of network resources. Access control ensures that only authorized personnel or devices are allowed access to network elements, stored information, information flow, services, and also application. Then next is authentication, which serves to confirm the identities of communicating entities. Authentication ensures the validity of the claimed identities of the entities participating in communication, like person, device, service, or also application. Then the next is non-repudiation. It provides means of preventing an individual or entity from denying having performed a particular action related to the data by making available proof of various network-related actions. Next is data confidentiality. It protects data from unauthorized disclosure. It also ensures that the data content cannot be understood by unauthorized entities. Next is communication security. It ensures that information flows only between the authorized endpoints, and also it is not diverted or intercepted as it flows between these endpoints. The last is data integrity. It ensures the correctness or accuracy of data. The data is protected against unauthorized modification, deletion, creation, and replication, and provides an indication of these unauthorized activities. Next is this is a practice for accessing the public telecommunication services. So, NGN security architecture is the environment of network convergence. Requirements on openness, increased network scales, complexity, and also potential security problems. Users are encouraged to follow the best practices below when accessing the public telecommunication service. First is keep security patches and network interface card drivers installed on the device up to date. This is a very important because um, the development of the development of the NGN it also make the threat for us. So we need to update to get the newer security patches so we will be more safe. Next is back up all personal data on a regular basis. As we know that the maybe sometimes it's not save our data, so we need to back up all personal data to the maybe in our SSD or hard drive, so it will be secure, and if the data is lost we can still access our data. Then the next is make about this to aid in recovering from a security breach or hard disk failure. Next is install and enable personal firewall, antivirus, and anti-spyware software, and keep the associated definition files and security patch up to date. Also, perform sphere scan on removable disk and the files download from internet before using them. This is a very important too. Is encrypt those sensitive data stored on the device accessing public telecommunication service. Then pack information or information backup in separate bag from laptop in case of theft if traveling with confidential information. Turn off the computer or disconnect from the network when we are not using it. And also set internet connection default to manual mode instead automatic mode, so we can be safe with following step. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.